Is the New York Jets' Robert Saleh the NFL Coach of the Year? Daniel Jeremiah of the NFL Network answers that in DJ Football now. Welcome into DJ Football. He is the NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah. I am Ryan Brown. We are presented by MyBookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND. Get you 110% sign-on bonus when you sign on with MyBookie.ag. 110% of your initial deposit in a sign-on bonus. DJ, what is up? How are you?
I'm doing great. What's going on, bud?
Not a whole lot. Boy, this New York Jets team, man. When they lost Aaron Rodgers, a lot of people just crumbled them up, threw them in the trash can and said, this thing is over. They beat the Chiefs that night, or the Bills that night, and you were like, okay, well, good story. They beat the Bills, but they cannot sustain this. What Robert Saleh seems to have done after this win with the Eagles is pretty remarkable, with Zach Wilson playing quarterback for him.
Well, to me, more so than even that, it's Elijah Vera Tucker being gone. You know, Joe Tippmann went out of the lineup. Dwayne Brown's been hurt. They just beat that Eagles team without four of their top six corners, and what might be the best corner combination in the NFL with Reed and Gardner. So, man, it's a lot of adversity that's been thrown their way. And this year, with the AFC kind of so jammed up together, 3-3, they're right in the middle of it as they enter into their bye. So Robert Saleh's done an unbelievable job, holding this thing together. And, Coach of the Year, yes, he would get my Coach of the Year vote, but I would say, to me, Dan Campbell, let's not just ignore what he's done with this line. Because you could make a case. Okay, well, the Jets winning at home minus all those guys against the Eagles is the best win of the year. Right. I'm not so sure that Detroit going on the road week 1 at Kansas City with all eyes of the football world there to watch Kansas City celebrate his Super Bowl, and they go win that game on the road. That might be just as impressive of a win. So to me, I'd go Saleh 1, but Dan Campbell right there behind him.
So you mentioned the playoff prospects. I feel good, obviously, about Miami and Buffalo in the AFC, right? Somebody is going to win the AFC North. Somebody is going to win the AFC South, and then there's Kansas City. But, man, once you get past that and you start looking at wild cards, there's a bunch of teams that look like the Jets right now. They've got the same record as the Jets. They aren't obviously better than the Jets, even without Aaron Rodgers. And as the Jets get healthier defensively, I mean, there is reason to believe this team, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't have this miraculous healing that some people have speculated about and take another snap, there's a chance this team could make the playoffs with Zach Wilson at quarterback.
And last year they were in position, early on before you had the Vera Tucker injury, as well in the same game, Breece Hall, the most significant injury. When he went out of the lineup, the wind went out of their sails and it all fell apart. But you watch the way they're playing now, especially last week against the Eagles, a lot of 13 personnel, 3 tight ends out on the field. What they're able to do then, you can run the ball with Breece Hall. You've got a kind of heavy lineup out there, but it makes life easy on Zach because you've got Garrett Wilson in one-on-one situations. You can put a wall, help, all these injuries along the offensive line. You got 3 tight ends out there that try and slow things down a little bit and then just work the one-on-ones with Garrett Wilson. One of the things it'll be interesting to see as the season goes along, one of the things that has not been talked about for the Jets that I think was a bigger deal than was made at the time, when Corey Davis retired, kind of surprised everybody, retired right at the beginning of the year. Man, that was a big blow to them. And that's why another reason why I think you see them in 13 personnel, because Lazard is just okay. I mean, it's an Aaron Rodgers favorite, but he's not, a world beater. He had a big drop last week and a big penalty. Mecole Hardman can't even get on the field. So that's a waste. He's not going to be a part of what they're doing. And then Randall Cobb, file under the same category as kind of an Aaron Rodgers guy. So you got one wideout. But if they keep Breece Hall healthy and they live in this 13 personnel, and Zach has gone in his evolution from, bad interception to bad sack. And that's a big deal. I mean, taking bad sacks and you maintain possession and you get 3 points is a big upgrade over forcing the ball in and losing possession. That's an improvement he's made.
Yeah. So to your point at receiver, DJ, Zach Wilson, you're asking him to throw to Garrett Wilson, who's a really good receiver.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then a bunch of guys that were really brought in because Aaron Rodgers had tremendous chemistry with them. Like they shared a brain with Aaron Rodgers. They don't have that with Zach Wilson, and they're not elite level receivers.
No. So again, you've got to play with the cards you've got here. And at this
Yeah.
point in time, they built a roster for Aaron Rodgers. They built really the offense around Aaron Rodgers, and they've shifted. I give Hackett a lot of credit because they said, okay, well, look, Zach is obviously not Aaron, so we're going to change up how we're doing this. Not going to put as much on the quarterback at the line of scrimmage. Aaron doesn't like the shift in motion. Well, we can use more shift in motion now to our advantage, so let's do that. And then let's just play with this heavy personnel grouping. And the other encouraging thing, they get to the bye here, and I don't know this, internally, but it feels like, they've used language like, oh, there's no governor on Breece Hall, or he's full go. They haven't cut him totally loose yet. And I think they got to the bye. They're 3-3. Now he gets another week of rest. I could see them coming out of the bye and saying, okay, now it's time. Breece Hall needs to carry the ball 18, 22 times a game, and let's ride him and see if he can take us to the postseason.
That's weird you compliment Nathaniel Hackett. I was told in the offseason he was a terrible coach. So that is
the worst coaching job of all time, I believe, is what somebody said. Yeah,
that's what I haven't seen much improvement in that city either, by the way.
The defense got worse, though. So that was good.
Yes, there you go. The show, DJ Football, presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign up at MyBookie.ag. That code gets you a first deposit sign-on bonus. You sign on, you make your first deposit. They give you a 110% bonus. That is free money. You get it. You can use it right away. Win once with it. It is yours forever. MyBookie.ag, code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round for that sign-on bonus. Also presented by Manscaped. Manscaped has so many great products, and DJ is going to get you a discount. DJF20 to get 20% off your initial order at Manscaped, whether it's that beard hedger like I use. It's got all the adjustments so your guard doesn't pop off. Keeps me looking nice and handsome. And don't ever gap my beard up.
Darn right it does.
Whether it's the weed whacker, takes care of that nose hair and the ear hair, or it's the lawnmower, which takes care of the undercarriage there, all of that right there in manscaped.com. All their great products. Manscaped.com, code DJF20 to get 20% off your initial order. DJF20 gets you 20% off that initial order at manscaped.com. What did they do? What does Robert Saleh do so well defensively? You just mentioned the guys that they are down defensively, yet Philadelphia, pretty good offense, can't move the ball effectively on them. So many teams have gone in there and had their worst offensive day against the New York Jets.
Well, in some ways, it's simple. They're going to rush 4. They built this front not only with talent, but with depth. They roll guys through. They play that, same attacking jet front that you see almost all the top defenses in the league play it. You see with the Browns are doing it. You see the 49ers doing it. The Eagles, who they saw in that game, the Jets, the Colts run it. I mean, it feels like all these 4-down teams that are just playing this attacking front, wide nines, get outside and cut these guys loose. They're able to play fast, and it's able to simplify things, I think, everywhere else. And that's been what it's been all about. And so when you can speed up the clock of players, I mean, we saw it in the 49ers game. Brock Purdy was the first time we saw him get sped up. Robert Saleh is doing that every week with the Jets, and that's why it's been so effective.
Yeah, he just strikes me. We talk about this a lot in the college game. Guys that play hard for their coach. I don't know if that happens across the board in the NFL, but it feels like it does with the Jets. It feels like that's a guy the locker room really, really likes Robert Saleh, and they play hard for that guy.
Yeah, he's to me, I think about sometimes people say, oh, label him as a rah-rah guy, right? Like, oh, it's all emotion and there's no substance behind it. To me, this with Robert Saleh, it is an intensity that he brings that is contagious. So you talk about energy and intensity. That's what he exudes, and you see that carry over to his players. Well, to me, it leads to confidence. So when my coach is this confident, we must have a great plan. We must be great players, or else he wouldn't be this dang confident. And I do think that spreads to his guys. So not only, look, tactically he does a nice job. They figure out ways to try and take people away. I don't want to minimize that side of it. But to me, I don't know that there's a more intense, energetic coach in the NFL, and you can't make a case other than that's been contagious around that team, not just the defense.
I mean, I hate to do this to Jets fans, but if Aaron Rodgers doesn't go down 4 plays in, might this be the best team in the NFL right now?
Yeah, I mean, you could make a case. I mean, I'd have to erase like the memory chip of the Cowboy game and take that out of my mind, because that was not great. That was the one time the defense didn't play great. But no, they're right there. I mean, that's why. It feels like in the AFC, man, just if you can hang around 500, maybe a game up, a game below, and get to week 13, week 14, you're right positioned right where you need to be. And who knows, by the looks of things, maybe Aaron Rodgers is back at the end of this year. And that'd be, you throw him into this mix with the defense,
Yeah,
that'd be a
scary.
dangerous team.
Yeah, very, very scary. He is the NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah. Follow him on Twitter at Move the Sticks. I'm Ryan Brown at Ryan Brown Live. Thank you to mybookie.ag. Don't forget code next round. Mybookie.ag, code next round to get that sign-on bonus of 110%. And visit manscaped.com. Manscaped.com, DJF20 for 20% off your initial order at manscaped.com. That is DJF20.